Amara and the Bats by Emma Reynolds. Amara and the Bats. Amara really loves bats. When Amara was very small, a bat got trapped in the attic of her old house. Amara asked if she could hold the bat, but her mom and her big brother, Samir, told her she should wait for the wildlife rescue team. They would know how to handle and look after the bat safely. When the wildlife rescue team arrived, they caught the bat carefully and held it gently in a towel. Amara got to see the bat's fluffy face, beady eyes, and delicate wings up close. Some people are afraid of bats, but Amara thought they were so cute. Part of her wished she could keep it as a pet, but Amara knew the bat would be happier out in the wild where it could fly around and be free. Ever since then, Amara has loved bats. Her favorite thing to do is collect all the bat facts she can find and write them in her notebook. Mom, did you know that bats are nocturnal? That means they're awake at night. They hang upside down like this, and they're the only mammals that can fly. Amara and her family were moving to a new town. She was supposed to be packing up her room, but she kept getting distracted by more bat facts. Amara squeaked all around the house. Squeak! Squeak! Samir, did you know that bats have such a high-pitched squeak that we can't even hear them? They use echolocation to find their food in the dark. I can hear you, Samir laughed. Amara and her family often watched the bats flying near their old house. She knew that all kinds of bats lived all over the world, so no matter where they lived, she'd always be able to see them. After they moved, Amara couldn't wait to visit the park in her new neighborhood to see the bats flying around at sundown. Did you know that most bats eat insects or fruit, but some eat fish, frogs, or even flowers? They have really long tongues to reach the nectar. They're amazing pollinators. But when Amara and her family got to the park, there were no bats to be found. They asked the park ranger about the bats, but she hadn't seen any in a while. We used to have a few bats nearby years ago, the ranger said sadly. But it's just me working here now, and more of the land is being sold to make room for buildings. Amara felt a sad feeling in her tummy on the way home. She couldn't stop thinking about the bats and their habitat. There was so much that needed fixing. She felt as if the weight of the whole world was crushing down on her. What could she do to help? Amara, her mom knocked on the door gently. I unpacked the rest of your books, and your new nature magazine arrived. Thanks, Mom, said Amara, still feeling glum. It will feel like home soon, I promise. Her mom placed the magazine and Amara's bat books on the bed and then gave her a hug. Amara opened her magazine and started to read. There was a story about young people organizing beach cleanups to clear plastic from the oceans, and another story about a boy teaching people to connect with nature by writing a blog and fighting to protect endangered birds. She found lots of stories and videos online about kids taking action to help animals and the planet. Soon, Amara realized, if they could make a difference, so could she. And she had an idea. Amara showed her mom and Samir a picture of a bat house, a little wooden house built for bats to roost in. Maybe if we can help the park build some bat houses, The bats will come back? We have to try to save the park. She decided to talk about her idea for show and tell the next day. She was still new at school, so she was a bit nervous to stand up in front of her class. But Amara didn't have to worry because her classmates really wanted to help. They started to tell her about their favorite animals. Jasper loved tigers and Lucy loved pangolins. Their favorite animals were endangered too. When Amara told Jasper and Lucy more about the bat houses, they had some great ideas. "We could have a bake sale," said Jasper. "And paint signs," Lucy waved her paintbrush. "What if they could build a nature reserve in the park so that lots of wild animals would have a home in the city?" Amara felt inspiration bubbling up inside her. She loved a challenge. The entire class painted signs and baked cakes to raise money for the nature reserve. Amara's new friends all wanted to help the bats come home. She was so happy. Amara's mom made some important phone calls, and soon their neighborhood gathered together to hold up their painted signs. It was hard work, but eventually people listened. The park would get its nature reserve. Over the next few months, volunteers helped make a bat-friendly sanctuary, a wild place where nature could flourish in the park. They made a new pond and planted flowers that smelled nice at nighttime so lots of insects could come by for the bats to eat. Bat houses need the perfect location with enough sunlight, placed at least 12 feet high. Let the grass and local plants grow wild. Avoid using pesticides. Grow hedges to help bats navigate and give other animals a home. Pile up dead leaves or logs to attract insects and small mammals. Pale flowers attract night-flying insects for bats to eat. Many bats love eating insects, and ponds help attract lots of them. The park ranger put the bat houses up in a special place with help from the wildlife rescue team. "I hope they come back," Amara said thoughtfully, sipping her hot chocolate. "We might have to wait a while," the ranger replied. "It's okay. I can wait." Every month, Amara and her family would check to see if the bats had roosted. They waited and waited and waited, but the bats didn't come. Amara tried to stay brave. One day when Amara was eating pancakes for dinner, her mom got a phone call. They needed to go to the park right away. When they arrived, the ranger waved them over. Amara was nervous. Had something happened to the bat houses? Suddenly, her mom and her brother whispered, "Amara, look!" And there they were, flying above her. The bats had made a new home. And Amara felt at home too. It was the best feeling in the world. There are more than 1,420 different species of bats, with more being discovered every year. They are commonly categorized into two main groups: echolocating microbats that mostly eat insects, and fruit-eating megabats, also known as flying foxes or fruit bats. Did you know the smallest bat is little more than 1 inch in body length? And the biggest bat is the giant golden-crowned flying fox. In winter, there are less insects for microbats to eat, So they will fatten themselves up over the summer and fall and then hibernate to reserve energy for up to 6 months until spring. Most bats use echolocation to find food, navigate around obstacles, and find their way while flying. Human ears can't hear echolocation because the sounds are too high-pitched. If you use a bat detector device, you can set it to the right frequency for your local bat and it will convert the waves into a sound you can hear. And did you know that bats are not blind? They have very good eyesight, but microbats use their ears to navigate with echolocation to find their food at night. Almost no megabats echolocate. Instead, they have bigger eyes than microbats and use their sight and sense of smell to find fruit. Many megabats play an important role in spreading the seeds of plants and trees through their guano, or bat poop. When a bat eats fruit from a tree, the fruit is digested but the seeds remain whole. When the bat poops, the seeds are dispersed in a new area. Without bats dispersing seeds far and wide, some plants would not grow. Who knew bat poop was so important? Bats are losing their natural habitats all over the world, but artificial roots called bat houses can be built for them to make their home. Bats like to roost in old trees, in caves, and buildings, but when bats don't have any of these roosts available, bat houses can encourage bats to live in a new area as long as they're a nearby source of food. Have you ever seen a bat in the wild? They fly around to look for food at night, so the best time to see them is at sunset or sunrise. If you're very quiet and don't shine any bright lights, you might be lucky enough to see one flying right above you. But bats do need our help. How can you help them? Well, you can learn about bats, share the truth. They're often misunderstood, and people are scared of bats due to misunderstanding them and false information. Sharing some of the bat facts in this book will help other people know how important bats are to all life on Earth and encourage others to save them too. You could also put up a bat house with the help of an adult. You could make your garden or local area a bat-friendly space. Let some areas grow a little wild to attract insects for the bats to eat. You could support a bat charity. You could join a local bat group and meet other bat fans. And you can become a bat ambassador and show your friends how incredible these creatures are. The end.